So basically, with episode 6 of Nukitashi, the animation, I personally want to talk about this. I think this is something very important that I think for people to really really understand here is that I think that the MC character based on this anime, I don't think that, basically in a way that he does feel ashamed because what he did and stuff like that, and basically, did the do it situation, or I would personally want to say he has sex with one of the FS, which makes basically the members based off the school and stuff like that, and based on stuff like that. And I kind of personally want to say here, I think he let his own feelings probably get the best of him. That's probably what he did. And sometimes people do have an urge to basically do that, or not. But sometimes people do have the urge to do it, or basically or not. It really depends. It really depends on basically the general nature of the person. And I kind of what person want to say here is that it just really the dictating people to see how people really do are and stuff like that. And I kind of want to say here is that I think a person has to decide if they really want to, or basically if they really don't want to, or they really shouldn't, or they just want to wait until they get married. Maybe that's the proper way. That some people really do want to do that, because that's just really the situation. If they really want to prepare themselves to be ready for that next step up to that next level, if they really want to go up there and to achieve that of that level, if they are prepared for and they're ready for them to achieve for that level, then yes, they are ready for the base of that. I kind of what a person want to say here is I think that the MC probably didn't learn how to control his urges or anything like that, but it feels to me that I think he just had an urge, or basically kind of like a force based out of a situation, basically like a lust of a situation, to do what he basically did with one of the girls basically in this anime. But even though I think that he's still regretful because basically what he did, because even though not only because of that, his sister feels really upset because she thinks that he wants him to have his experience for someone who he really loves, and that's what he definitely was. And you also have to put in perspective, he's basically pretty much against the laws because the perverted basically stuff like that, basically the natures and stuff like that, basically what they're doing, and basically stuff like that. If something like that basically would happen basically in real life and stuff like that, I would find it very impossible for something like that to basically happen. Stuff like that. I don't think it would never happen. I would never think that would ever happen. And I think a lot of people will probably say that's not really basically the case. That's kind of like dreaming of a fantasy land, to basically say like, yeah, that's gonna happen, but it's not really actually it's gonna happen. Really, it's not. Now, I want to talk about the lolly girl. I want to talk about her because I think she's very, very important when it comes to this anime, because you really don't get to see really all that much basically in this anime. I personally want to say something to basically about her is that I would definitely will say here is that I don't think she's not ready, prepared to do the situation, or ready to have sex or something like that. I don't think she's not ready. I don't think she's really is not. I don't think that she should. I really don't think that she really shouldn't. I don't think that she really need to. But she feels like she has the urge to basically do it because she feels like she really wants to, but she really wants basically of that situation. If I was her, I would not do it. That's personally, my opinion and stuff like that. I think they kind of push a little too far with her character, basically in terms of the basic way I see it, because some people will probably depicted her basically as a younger person, but even though that she's really not. She's basically just a regular teenager, but some people will probably basically depict her just as a kid. But even though that she really is not, but even though she's a little bit more older than some what people may think that she really actually is, even though that she is adult. Because if you go back to some of the other episodes, she did address and said that she is an adult. But some people will probably say, oh, she's dictating as a kid. No, do your research. Go back to the episode, and you will see exactly why that she really is not. But some people would just make assumptions and stuff like that, and to exaggerate the character of the person or anything like that and stuff like that. And people will definitely do that. People will definitely do that, and they will just make it their own assumptions and stuff like that. This is so and so, that's so and so, and stuff like that. It just really basically goes on based on the boundaries and stuff like that. To be honest with you, like I said many times before, this anime I've never seen before, and just basically other different situations that I've seen when it comes to True Love Ru and High School DxD and other edgy animes I have watched. But this anime is kind of a lot, not kind of similar to those animes, but this is kind of a lot more extreme based on when it comes to True Love Ru and High School DxD and based on others I have seen basically in nature. Do I basically consider this basically as an anime? Kind of like half and half, basically in a similarly basically kind of like anime. I would basically say it's kind of like half anime and also half the H word, which I'm not going to say because of ETYs and stuff like that, because that's basically the generalization. So, excuse me for a second. I have a handkerchief. That's my handkerchief. But anyways, that's just basically the girl's basic situation. If I was basically the MC, I would not feel the urge basically to not to do it and stuff like that. Take as for instance, basically for me, yes, I did have sex before marriage and stuff like that. I didn't have a very good relationship with her. I'm not really going to say her name or something like that. I'm not going to give any credit to her. But one person want to say here is basically that's just basically, my opinion. That's what I definitely think and stuff like that. I did cherish good memories with my ex. I did. I'm not going to afraid to admit that. Do I still have feelings for her? To be honest with you, yes and no. To be honest with you, yes, I still do, but I really want her to change. But if she can change, I really would like for her to change. But no, I really don't believe that she's really not going to change. She wants to have another opportunity with me, but I'm not really buying it because I really don't think that she really did. I really don't believe that she really did. And stuff like that. I even told my family, I said I'm not having a normal relationship anymore because I don't want to put myself in more stress than it actually is. I can't deal with that. So I think that basically to me is that it really depends on the person, who you really want to be with and what kind of wants that they want and what kind of needs that they want. It really just depends. Like, what is the needs that they really need and what is the wants that they really want. If it's the wants of basically what they really want, that means they want everything. If it's the needs of something that they really definitely need, is something that they really definitely need and stuff like that. Basically finding in a person, like a person wants a need to basically to have a family and basically other different things, or basically have a want, basically more in lustful as a desire of a situation So you got to be careful about how you pick who you really want. It's kind of like you're going to animal shelter or animal place, and you want to pick out which animal that you really definitely want. Which animal that you definitely want, you have to be very careful about which one that you pick, because if that one animal that you pick, that animal could be nice or could be mean. Or either is it going to bite or it's not going to bite. So you really have to really basically choose what you really want to do. That's kind of like picking cherries from a bush and say like, this one's good, this one's bad. Because if you pick the bad one and you ate it, guess what? You end up getting sick. And plus, over top of that, you may get poisoned, and possibly over that, you probably would die. So, I mean, it just really depends. in my own view, I would just personally, you know, how would I say this? I would personally just take your time and not rush into the situation. That's something I would not do because that's just my opinion. That's what I definitely think. I would just basically just take your time, build up the relationship. If you feel like that you're ready for that situation, if you feel like you're ready for that, that's something for you to decide. But you should talk to your partner basically about that. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm not giving advice or anything like that, but I'm just giving my opinion. That's what I definitely think. But if I were to teach my son, I would personally definitely would tell him heart to heart, give him a hard conversation about that, you know, and tell him that's what he needs. That's what he needs to really understand. Like, and then he will say, like, how will I know I'm ready? I can't say that. I say, well, to be honest with you, I really don't know. You have to depend. You have to depend on if you've really prepared to basically do it and stuff like that. I can't teach my daughter that because that will be right. Because that would basically for me just to have the wife to step in, and then she probably will say like, if you feel like you really want it, then you really should. But even though I've basically been perfectly at a very young age, I probably would not permit it. I probably would not allow it. No. Because I wouldn't, because that's not something I would permit myself to base it off that. So yeah, I think basically the MC just really needs to understand he needs to control his urges. That's what I definitely do think that he really does. But if he doesn't, he's going to end up not only hurting himself, but hurting basically others around him also as well too. And that's not a good situation, and that's not really is not. So I think it is a lesson to learn. But it's something that I think that's just the way I see it from right there. But like I said, I normally don't do reviews based when it comes to ecchi anime or anything like that. I normally don't do that. But it just really just depends on from that situation. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for the theme of the review. Tell me what you guys think. You guys like this review? You guys don't like it? What are you guys' opinions about what I talk about? What are you guys' thoughts about the MC, and what is you guys' thoughts about the sister? But yeah, anyways, this time I'll see you guys there. Take care. Hope you guys have a long day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please hit the like button. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. And please leave a comment below. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Hope you guys have a long day. Take care. Bye.